Soldiers, sailors, airmen, and women enlist in the armed forces for many reasons, including a sense of duty, patriotism, the adventure, travel, and adrenaline. When service members are injured or wounded and can no longer perform their military duties, they quickly find themselves removed from their team, no longer serving the purpose for which they trained.
I came back from Afghanistan in 2013, and it was kind of a trial and error of finding out, after the military, what's next in life.
Motorsports offers an opportunity to regain that sense of identity within a safe, fast-paced team environment, providing a renewed sense of purpose. Like in the military, in motorsports, the goal is in accomplishing the mission, winning as a team, collectively celebrating the successes and supporting teammates through the losses. Operation Motorsport also offers virtual engagements and recovery opportunities through an iRacing league, engaging beneficiaries in a safe, competitive environment from the comfort and safety of their home. Operation Motorsport believes in the power of team, identity, and purpose.
The goal at any given race is, of course, to win, and CrowdStrike, AWS, and DXDT were fortunate to achieve championship-winning results in 2020. We're extremely proud to be partnering with Operation Motorsport through our racing initiatives. Their program seeks to place military veterans in various positions inside a real racing team. The experience aids in their retraining, recovery, and rehabilitation.
So my name is Chad Failing. I'm a staff sergeant retired out of the United States Army. I am with Kevin Boehm under DXDT. You're getting creative. You're getting taught to think outside of the box.
We couldn't be more proud to be affiliated with this great program. In the spirit of giving back to the community and creating meaningful opportunities, we are committed to building a diverse motorsports platform with the amazing men and women who have served our country.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to Podium Esports coverage of the third round for the Operation eMotorsport iRacing Summer League by Recaro, live from iRacing's virtual WeatherTech Raceway at Laguna Seca in Monterey, California. Hi, I'm your host, Taylor Burris, and joined by my colleague in the booth, Rachel Whiteford, and our producer for this evening is Ryan Bauer, using cameras created by Dougie Beard. Rachel, we are at probably one of the most famous North American circuits with one of the most famous corners in all of motorsports racing. WeatherTech Raceway at Laguna Seca is probably one of those tracks that will test every driver who comes here.
I think it will, and I wish I had a bottle of wine to go with the corkscrew here, as I butchered the joke I was going to drop in there, but never mind. None required for Laguna Seca. It's a gorgeous track, great racing out here, absolutely fantastic circuit out here in the desert part of this area. Actually pretty close to the coastline, surprisingly enough, but it's a very arid track in comparison to a lot of places. Now, of course, previously known as Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, it's in the central California areas off the coastline, and it's used for both auto and motorcycle racing. It was built in 1957 near both Salinas and Monterey, California. In fact, it's just inland from Monterey Airport. The racetrack is 2.238 miles long, or 3.6 kilometers if you speak in other units of measurement. And it has 180 feet of elevation change, 55 meters, that is insane. Most of which is in the corkscrew, actually. 11 turns, and its signature turn, as we mentioned, is the downhill plunging corkscrew, which feels like a roller coaster. And it is an insane one. You've got to make sure you set it up right. It can make or break a lap, and it has huge amounts of racing exhibitions, entertainment events here, of course. They do supercars, they do sports cars, they do music festivals, and it's an FIA Grade 2 circuit. Now, the name, Laguna Seca, what does it mean? As you might imagine, it's Spanish, meaning dry lagoon. So it's definitely sandy, but more because of the coastal factor than a desert factor. And it was once a lake, so the course was built around the dry lake bed.
It certainly is a very historic track, and very much so happy to see some amazing GT machinery that will be out on the track. Currently, they're doing the qualifying session, but we have a very special guest joining us here today. He is a four-time SCCA champion, as well as the 2020 TCA champion and Rookie of the Year. He is also, of course, part of the owner and driver and engineer from Bohm Racing. Mr. Kevin Bohm joins us. Kevin, welcome to the Operation eMotorsport event here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. How are you tonight?
I'm great. Thanks for having me, guys.
Of course. Well, Kevin, as we begin, what would you like the viewers at home to know about you and your family's operated team, Bohm Racing?
Well, I mean, we're in our second year in the SRO TC America Series. Last year, as you mentioned, we were able to kind of clinch the championship and Rookie of the Year, so it was a pretty successful season. And in doing so, we were able to move from the TCA category up to the TC category in a Honda Civic Type R. And we've done 3 events so far this year, and so far so good. We're sitting second in the championship. So we still have 4 events left this season, and it's going to be a battle.
It certainly is. You've been definitely having a phenomenal season so far in the SRO TCA category, or TC America Championship. Let's talk a little bit more about the partnership that you have with Operation Motorsports and how beneficiaries helped you win both the 2020 TCA Rookie of the Year and the championship.
Well, the kind of thing is that there's a lot of similarities in the kind of military, the structure of it, and kind of the how you always have to be switched on. And what we've been able to do is kind of leverage that those skills that the Operation Motorsport beneficiaries kind of carry with them from their military experience, and really put that to use in the motorsports world. So what I do personally is really try to get them integrated within the team and give them tasks that are really important to the kind of success of the team, whether that's kind of taking care of the tire plans and the fuel of the car, and getting the kind of setup rack kind of set up, and really helping with the alignments, and really kind of giving meaningful tasks that without their help it basically makes the success really, really difficult.
It certainly does, and it's phenomenal what you and Operation Motorsports and the beneficiaries have been able to do to help you win those 2 awards in 2020. Now, the first time I had the pleasure of watching you race was at VIR in the SCCA Hoosier Super Tour Series at VIR, and you were actually showcasing one of the new Honda Civic race cars that year, and also you're an engineer for Honda Racing. Can you talk a little bit about your role as an engineer?
Sure. I mean, I'm an engineer. I think a little over 11 years of experience now at Honda Research and Development here in Columbus, Ohio. And what I've been able to do is kind of leverage some after-hours programs. And what you saw at VIR was actually a car that I built from scratch out of kind of leftover development parts from the Civic Coupe that we did all the testing and design work here in Ohio. And I was able to build that car from scratch and really take all the little lessons that I've learned over the years, both through my OEM engineering experience and also my kind of club racing experience. And I built one monster of a Civic Coupe, and it was had the 2-liter turbo Civic Type R engine, and really lightweight, really efficient when it comes to the power. We had a turbo inlet restrictor, but we made a lot of power through it, and I think it really was an eye-opening car when people saw it on track.
It certainly was. I was astounded by the impressive capabilities of that car. And as we come to a close on this interview, Kevin, what does it mean to everyone at Bohm Racing in supporting our wounded service members and veterans in both Canada and the U.S.?
Yeah, I mean, the support that we have from Operation Motorsport, like you mentioned earlier, is really a key to our past success, and I know it will be for our future successes as well. And we owe that a lot to Operation Motorsport and the dedicated members that we've been really privileged to get to know and incorporate in our team. And really, I just look forward to kind of continuing to build that relationship and working with more and more beneficiaries and showing how the motorsport world is a really good place to kind of focus your mind and feel that kind of team atmosphere that might be familiar in the military world.
It certainly is. Well, Kevin, we want to say thank you for joining us this evening on tonight's broadcast. And of course, to learn more about Kevin and his family-operated team, Bohm Racing, visit their website at www.kevinbohm.com. And of course, you can catch Kevin Bohm racing the next time, actually, in the SROTC America later on this month at Road America. So we wish you good luck there and hope you enjoyed tonight's show.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for having me, and I can't wait to catch the rest of the race here.
Of course, that is Kevin Bohm from Bohm Racing. And Rachel, it was such an honor to have a champion here with us this evening, and looking forward to seeing what he can do the rest of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be exciting to see what he can pull off and what he can do with the cars. And this is, of course, one of the big levelers, because we've seen real guys who are fantastic in real-life racing who are pretty darn good when it comes to sim racing too, but we've seen some guys with no actual on-track experience take it to them. So it always makes it exciting to see the leveling playing field that is sim racing, where everyone has this opportunity.
They certainly do. And speaking of that, right now we have the qualifying just about finished up. Currently your pole sitters in each of the classes in the pro class, which is our GTE class of cars, is Dave Hines currently sitting in that position. Then as we go a little bit further down to the open class, along with the beneficiary class, Mario Gonzalez leads the open class, and then in the beneficiary class you have Hunter Reeves, your pole sitter there. So great drive for these drivers as we wait on them. In fact, where we see a couple of our pole sitters drivers as well as top runners, Tyler Beamon, who had a decent run at Mid-Ohio the last time out, looking to see if he can improve a little bit.
Yeah, I'd love to see what he can do with this one. Of course, every race has its own pluses and negatives. In this case, this track is very different to what we've run so far this season, so they're going to have to keep on top of that. This place is not as simple as it can seem, and it often does provide that challenge that we like to see. This track will bite you too, in surprising ways.
It certainly will. And we talked about Hunter Reeve, who's currently your pole sitter for the beneficiary class. He's also your points leader in the beneficiary, or actually he's one of the front runners in the championship, but also in that beneficiary class is currently John May, who sits atop. He's currently sitting in 9th overall, or 9th in class, 18th overall in this field. So he's going to have some work to do to see in that Mercedes if he can get a little higher up.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be tough. The Mercedes we've seen has not been toured by many. It is certainly not the first choice car for most, I think, in many cases. But we'll have to see how it plays, because there's always opportunity. Some tracks benefit these designs and these mechanical layouts of the cars.
Certainly is. Of course, this is not the last race that we will have here on the West Coast. In fact, the next round on August 17th, we head to the streets of Long Beach. So keep that in mind as we continue our California cruise here with these drivers for the Operation eMotorsport's iRacing Summer League. As qualifying is just about to come to a close, we will soon give you your starting lineup for tonight, as some of the drivers are finalizing their last lap here in qualifying. Checkered flag is out as Barney the flagman will wave it. And seeing a couple of colorful cars out on the track here as they enter through the Mario Andretti hairpin. There's the famous corkscrew that we will see so many cars here for the next 30 minutes of racing. Head down here through this section. Of course, you want to stay out of the gravel trap here tonight, as we now have your starting lineup here for tonight. Dave Hines is your overall pole sitter in that number 57. He will be followed by Chris Walsh in second place. Third position will be Kurt Poulter, followed by Martin Wallace in fourth position. Christopher Pies will be starting the fifth spot, followed by Dustin Burkholter in the sixth position. Seventh position will be Tyler Gilmetti, followed by Bradley Beamone in the eighth position. Ninth position will be Chris Ramirez, and rounding out your top 10, your open class pole sitter, Mario Gonzalez.
11th place will be Rodney Campbell from the open category, with Hunter Reeve from the beneficiaries. In 12th, 13th, Tyler Beeman from the open class. 14th, Brock Hogan from the beneficiaries class. 15th place is Theo Brosima from the beneficiaries, with Rick Haslett from the open class in 16th place. 17th, John Winker from the beneficiaries. 18th, another beneficiary, John May. 19th, open classes Mark Bray, with Joshua O'Connor from the beneficiaries class in 20th. 21st is Philip Cartier from the beneficiaries category, with open class Tyler Reed in 22nd. And the last three beneficiaries, Dylan Redrick in 23rd, Tim Bernard 24th, and 25th, Adam Poppenhaus.
And as the field starts to get themselves lined up here on the track here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, Rachel, for some maybe of our new viewers here tonight, I want to break down maybe some of the class structure that we have here tonight, because we have three different classes racing in tonight's race.
Yeah, we certainly do, of course, and it's really important to understand how these work and how it's going to be important. Now, we have the Pro Class, the blue ones. These are the GTE cars. There are GT class vehicles. They are competition license holders, past or present, and iRacers with a road I rating above 1900. Red is our GT3 class, or one of the classes of GT3 cars, open to active service members and Operation Motorsport supporters. And third, last but not least, probably the most important, is the beneficiary category, the green number plates. Those are the ones we watch in this series, of course. These are the people who are out here to support and to celebrate, and wow, it's a fun series, and we have to see some great racing where we see a lot of competition between both the actual open and beneficiary classes. It's not a case of first, second, and third fast. It's often they'll mix, and it's great fun to see.
It certainly is. In fact, we saw last week how the beneficiary class was the overall GT3 winners in that race when we were racing at Mid-Ohio a couple of weeks ago. So it was great to see the racing. The action was intense, and we're hoping to see that continue here as the field is now just finishing up the final finishing touches to get back onto the grid, as the iRacing Porsche pace car will lead them through this circuit one time around before turning them loose here for the next 30 minutes. Rachel, any final thoughts as we get ready for this race?
Yeah, we certainly will. It's going to be exciting to get this one going as the pace car takes them away here. Let's get this thing underway. It has been a tough one, but we're going to take a whole lap here, don't we?
We do take a whole lap, so we'll take a quick look at some of the key features here. In fact, the first corner they're heading into, the Mario Andretti hairpin, it will be providing a great passing opportunity for some drivers, but also can be a little calamitous, especially if you overshoot it going into the gravel trap as you're on board with one of our competitors. I believe that is Poulter in the number 3 Porsche. He's a strong competitor, has a couple of great championships to his name in some series that we have called, including the CMS iRacing Team Endurance Series. So he knows a thing or two about racing, sprint format of course, but knows how to win races at any track and in any GTE car you put him in.
Yeah, you can drive a car fast, you can drive any car fast.
As you see our pole sitter in the open class, as well as your GT3 class. That's Mario Gonzalez in the 777 in one of those Mercedes, along with Hunter Reeve in the Porsche, one of iRacing's newest GT3 cars that has been included in the iRacing service, along with Dave Hines in the Porsche GTE spec car, the 911 RSR, as he's about to get things going. Currently, your top 3 in the overall pro class is nothing but Porsche. Then you have a Corvette, a Ferrari, and then another Porsche for your top 6 as they work down the famous corkscrew, where we see some of the great motorsport shots and scenes coming down the hill as they work their way through, and then heading into Rainy Curve before they head to the final couple of segments of corner of turn 10 and 11. Turn 11, a great passing opportunity, Rachel, where drivers will have to utilize outbraking each other as we see the pace car get out of harm's way down pit road. For the next 30 minutes, we will bring you all the stories, coverage, and great racing here at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. Green flag is out, and we are underway for 30 minutes. Dave Hines in that green Porsche will take the lead just by a little bit as they work their way down the front straightaway, heading into the Mario Andretti hairpin. Currently, Hines and Walsh will go side by side. Walsh will outbrake Hines into the braking zone and hold on as they're 3 wide for 5th position. But out of the Mario Andretti hairpin, it is still going to be side-by-side racing.
Certainly is. One of those guys in that 3-wheeler's pies on the outside there. Crazy conditions on the track for these drivers. I think that would have been Wallace, who was in the middle of that 3-wide sandwich. It definitely got very busy. Yeah, this is getting spicy already, but look at Walsh and Hines at the front. They are really kicking this one up and going for this thing, but looking back, of course, we've also got Mario Gonzalez leading the open class drivers there, with our first beneficiary, Hunter Reeve, is right behind him and Campbell, so we've really stacked this one up.
It certainly is. You currently have for your top 3 Porsches in the GTE class. Meanwhile, in the GT3 class, you have Mercedes, Ferrari, and Porsche, and then a BMW actually in the mix as well, including a Lamborghini. So your top 5 in the GT3 spec cars, but in the open and beneficiary class, very mixed up compared to your pro class as you're on board with the 62 of Rodney Campbell as they work their way up to turn 11. A big issue, though, for one car as it goes off. That's Chris Ramirez in the 311 Porsche. And in fact, the 62 goes off of Rodney Campbell.
Yeah, not good there for them. That will change things up a little bit. In fact, that throws him out of the order. He's backing out from the sand trap, but he's getting his car going again. Doesn't look to be too much damage. A slight knock. That moves Hunter Reeve up into second of the GT3 cars, and of course still leading in the beneficiaries class.
It certainly is, of course, for Hunter Reeve. He has to worry about Brock Hogan. That's his driver he has to work against and go up against for the beneficiary class. Meanwhile, for Mario Gonzalez, he has Tyler Beamone, who will be battling him for that overall open class victory. There's Brock Hogan in the Lamborghini that just went by, as we now keep an eye on your top 3 in the pro class. Currently, Chris Walsh holds on in his Porsche as they work already around some lap traffic in the Ferrari. I believe that would be Tim Bernard, currently one of the beneficiary class drivers, who almost makes contact with the 3 of Kurt Poulter, backs out of it, lets those leaders by, knows he's not in the best class where he needs to let these pro class drivers on through. It almost makes contact with another driver, that's Tyler Gilmetti, as he is just struggling out on the track.
Yeah, it really is. It's definitely getting a little bit messy up there at the moment, but there's a 3-car race here at the front of your GT3 field, and I am very happy to say Mercedes is out front. It's definitely the best car in the entire field by a long stretch. Nothing to do with me being a major fan of them. But It is Mario Gonzalez there from the upper class with Tyler Beeman and Brock Hogan in that trio. And I do believe we've got a Porsche in there and we have a BMW. So 3 manufacturers represented, showing a very equal balance to the Lamborghini right behind them. So there you go.
3 of Germany's finest manufacturers battling it out for the top spot overall in the GT3 class. And then, of course, you have one of the pinnacle motorsports brands of German manufacturing, Porsche, leading in the Pro class as they work their way towards the back half of the course, heading over into turn number 5. Gonzalez, though, has broken away from Hunter Reeve and Tyler Beamon as Reeve goes a little bit wide in turn 5. That's going to allow Beamon to the inside, move him up to 2nd overall. And that section right there, Rachel, before you head up the Ray Hall Straight, can be a little tricky because you feel like you can take that corner flat out, but really you have to let the throttle breathe just a little bit. Otherwise, you will go off course very easily.
Yeah, it's super easy. And with this track being so dusty offline, you can really destroy those tires and get dust built up there that will really impact your grip levels. You go off, it's another story entirely. You're going to be like ice skating. It really is a thing here. The track is always dusty. It's always very dry. So it makes conditions really tough for these drivers. They've got to nail it. A slight mistake can cost you so much.
It certainly can, as we see Chris Walsh going by. You're currently on board with the number 33 of Dustin Burkholter in his Porsche, trying to catch up to the 666 of Martin Wallace in his Corvette as they will go to the inside of the 5 of Tyler Gilmetti. So both of those 2 drivers will move up 1 position, move Dustin up to 6th, Martin up to 5th position. As they work their way through turn number 5, you're on board with Gilmetti as they make the run to turn number 6.
Yeah, they certainly are now. And keeping my eyes through these groups as they're moving around, we're seeing Bradley Beeman actually get caught. No, it wasn't Beeman, actually. I think it was one of the other... Yeah, Chris Ramirez, yes, he's trying to get his way further forward there as that car just up ahead.
I think we had an issue with
leaders there.
Brock Hogan, who was running behind the 3 German makes in the GT3 class. I'll try to see what happened to the driver. Oh, had a major issue with some mechanical issues to his car, unfortunately. So he is going to try to rejoin as soon as he has the chance to. As we keep an eye on some of the other tracks here, John May, who runs 5th overall, he's currently 2nd in the beneficiary class, having a quiet run in his Mercedes as he's trying to hunt down Hunter Reeve to get over the race lead in that beneficiary class. Keep an eye on him to see what he can do as he hunts down the 946 Lamborghini of Mark Bray.
Yeah, definitely trying to go for that one. It will help to try and get him some more points in the series overall here. Now, it's going to be a bit of a balancing act, really, with this. We've got a lot of traffic all around the area, which is congested. But, a bit of a change here as... Oh, that's the back marker from your Pro class actually getting out of the way here for the leaders in the GT3 field. They're getting those 3 cars through that group. Although we are seeing Reeve just caught behind that car. Unfortunate timing for him there. He has a good gap, though, over John May, his 2nd place driver in the beneficiary class, back in overall 13th. He is going to be about, wow, actually that is quite time, looking at about 14 seconds adrift there of Reeves. So Reeves looking pretty comfortable right now. That's good for him. Winker right behind him, a 2nd back from May. So we're seeing 2nd and 3rd really, really close together with Cartier right behind them. He's a further 13 seconds adrift. So we're seeing a bit of a spread this time out at Laguna Seca, but Hunter Reeves got to keep it on track.
For a driver like Hunter Reeve, Rachel, when you have this much of a gap, the best strategy then, since you're not really battling against Gonzalez or Beamon, is to just hold that position and keep the pace that you're running in order to extend that gap. Because this could be a very critical moment for Hunter when the championship starts to roll around. He currently sits 8th in the point standing since he missed the first round at CTMP, but had a very strong finish the last time out at WeatherTech Raceway, in fact, winning in that beneficiary class. So how important is it for him right now to just hold his spot and just focus on the track?
It's really important. He's not in the same fight, so as much as he wants to race them because it's fun and it's racing, they're in a different battle. So it's important that he focus on exactly that and actually think about what's at stake here. And of course, that is the pride of his service branch. Never mind the points. That's not important. We are very concerned here, of course, in the Operation Motorsports series about the inter-service benefits, shall we say, from this, and we are keeping tally. We'll keep you up to date at the end of the race, of course, on who's doing where, but for an update on how it stands currently, and it could change, the Army's on 7 points, Navy a big fat 0, Air Force 1, the Marines have 3 out of their box of Crayolas, and unfortunately the Coast Guard and Space Force have yet to place or qualify.
That we know of.
That we know of. The Space Force could be here, they just haven't, beamed down onto the track yet?
Probably, give it time, they'll come out with one race here later on this season.
Still looking for the lake.
They are. Well, I mean, they're going to a couple of places that have bodies of water not too far from. Of course, here at WeatherTech Raceway, there is the Gulf of Monterey right there behind these mountains here. So I'm surprised we don't see any Coast Guard members. Maybe they're too busy playing out in the bay.
But they're lost.
Yes, that too. So, well, one driver who currently is not lost, he is leading the way. That's Mario Gonzalez. He is being the Pied Piper as one car goes way off down the corkscrew. Don't know who that was. As we watch for the battle for the overall lead in the pro class, this is Chris Walsh, Dave Hines, as they will do battle coming through turn number 10 as they approach the hairpin at turn 11. As they make their way into the braking zone, they have a little bit of lap traffic in front of them as they will make quick work of him down the front straightaway. That, I believe, is the 98 of Bradley Guimond. No, that's actually a different car. That's someone else, actually. So that's the 59 who they're going to put. That's Joshua O'Connor, who will now be put a lap down overall as we watch the top two battle it out for the race lead. Both of these drivers have had strong seasons so far in the first 2 rounds of this season. Christopher Walsh currently, as we look at the Pro Class Championship, currently sits, looking at it right now, sits second for Dave Hines, but for Christopher Walsh, he's yet to really start this season, so he's looking to start off his season run late in the season, but hopefully with a bang, coming home with possibly a second place or even a win.
I think that's very possible, really, in the way things are looking right now. It's definitely got the potential for that to be a factor, and I think they have to really put that into their kind of minds as a potential to go here in how this race can play. That car really kind of getting into the way a little bit. I think that was that Redrick, who was just mechanical issues for him. Right in the middle of corkscrew was a very difficult place for that to happen. So, car went flying off the track there in front of some of our leaders in the GT3 field. Trying to work out who that was for you. It was right ahead of them. I think it may be a lap car. But spinning off the field on the... There we go. It's Tyler Reed, one of the open class drivers. Had a bit of a tizzy.
Tough break for Tyler Reed right now as he is in the open class in that 75. But as you watch your top 3 in the overall GT3 field, it's still Gonzalez, Beamon, and Hunter Reeve. Hunter Reeve, though, is your class leader in the beneficiary class, holding on a strong gap of over 18 seconds over John May, who's his competitor in the beneficiary class. Meanwhile, for Gonzalez, it's him and Beamon, so it is Mercedes versus BMW for the open class as Mario Gonzalez is doing the best that he can. Currently, Mario, even though he's had strong runs this season, Rachel, he really sits 4th in the point standing. So a good run from him tonight could be the benefit for him to boost him up into the point standings later on this season. And for driver Tyler Beamon, who sits 2nd right there behind him, he is our defending race winner from the last round at Mid-Ohio.
Yeah, definitely. And we are currently just about 9 laps through this race here, so time is running through, and we're definitely seeing this one start to spread. Laguna Seca will do this to fields. You're either going to race well here or you will struggle. There's really no in between. It's one of those tracks that's really polarizing. So the Marmite of race courses.
It certainly is. It tests the limits of all these drivers here, and it just showcases the talent that some of them have, as you see the 666, that is Martin Wallace in one of the 2 Corvettes, who is out on the track, and then right behind him you'll find Dustin Burkholter in his Porsche. And that's just one of the great things when it comes to GT racing, Rachel. You have a wide mixed varieties of different manufacturers that continue to come and be added to the iRacing service. Of course, Corvette, one of the newer GTE cars. We touched briefly on Porsche, BMW, and Lamborghini, some of the newer GT3 cars that have joined the service. And it's great to hear the different sounds of these cars and also the different input that these cars are able to handle and how some cars can be better at some circuits compared to others.
It's about weight balance. You look at the Porsches, or the older Porsches with the rear engine, where it was behind the rear axle. It had a very different weight composition than some of the newer ones, I should say, are mid-engined, like the other cars in the field for the majority, until you get to the BMW and the Mercedes, which are front-engined. So it is over the front axle, which makes it very different in terms of how it actually handles and attacks a corner. And it is down to how the cars corner. In a straight line, all relatively the same. Relatively, I say. There are some differences before we get into engineering waffle, but the car that has the engine over the front wheels obviously is going to have a benefit in mechanical grip because it's got more weight to attack the entry to the corner, but they do tend to be a little bit more tail happy. And cars that have a rear engine or mid-engine mid-engine is a fight to try and take the rear engine over the rear axle, which were tougher into the corner but better out. They had a bit more swing, a bit more oversteer, and oversteer is good in a race car, as long as you don't have too much. Mid-engine is that fight to battle that kind of balance point, and try and find a car that has a more neutral center of gravity and a better overall weight and balance to benefit in both entry and exit the corner, as well as mid-corner. So it puts us in a position where these guys are trying to find that right car, and it has been that the Porsche, the Lamborghini, etc., the Ferraris have been really good in the majority of tracks, majority of seasons, because they do have that benefit. Now here, you are going to see a good benefit to some of the Mercedes because they do attack corners very well, and Laguna Seca is about getting into the corners.
It certainly is, as we watch them go through one of the famous corners, the corkscrew, as they work their way down. Such a good camera shot right there by Dougie Beard, and the great camera work that our producer, Mr. Ryan Bauer, is able to do. There's Dustin Burkholter in that number 33 Porsche. In fact, Dustin Burkholter is an op mode beneficiary who currently works with the Skip Barber Racing in the SRO TC America, and I've had the chance to see this team in action in a couple of SRO events. And this program that the Skip Barber Racing School team does is phenomenal. They've had some great runs so far. They're getting ready, like we talked about, to head over to Road America at the end of the month. So it's a great job opportunity that Dustin is having here, and as he has a wonderful livery, actually, with that camo, with the rainbow style. So kind of a camo Rainbow Warriors brought to life here as he is working his way, trying to catch up to the 666 of Martin Wallace. And as you see these two battle of Dustin Burkholter and Martin Wallace, we are going to take a quick commercial break, but don't worry, you will see everything live in our side-by-side coverage. You are watching the Operation Motorsports iRacing Summer League, powered by Recaro.
On average, 22 veterans from North America commit suicide every single day. That's one veteran for every second of this video.
So I fueled the number 19 car for DXDT Racing. CrowdStrike AWS, our sponsors, this weekend. It's kind of awesome. You know, fueling a car during a race requires, you know, full race suit or full fire suit, full Nomex, underwear, long johns. It's pretty hot in there. It's not too dissimilar than things that you do in the Army, especially. There is a ton of safety with it. You know, race fuel is somewhere between 100 and 110 octane. And if it hits the side exhaust on one of these Mercedes GT3s, it's an instant fire. So it's kind of a big deal. You going over the wall is also a big deal. I mean, that's a kind of rite of passage working a crew. And when you get a chance to go over the wall and you do it right, you nail it the first time, it's always a big deal. I guess coming to a new team, you know, DXDT's been a partner with Operation Motorsport now for 2 seasons, but stepping up to their GT3 program is a big deal, and they've taken care of me. Getting into a team that is like, hey, don't care where you came from, don't care how you got here, you're here, you're going to work, and you're going to work hard. That's really that's what this whole program is about. So this has been a great weekend here at Sonoma, California. The weather's bore with us mostly, and we're going to enjoy the decently warm weather for early March, and have another great race too today.
Welcome back to Podium Esports coverage of the Operation eMotorsport iRacing Summer League powered by Recaro. Live from the virtual WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, you see the battle for the Pro Class 3rd position between Kurt Poulter and Christopher Pies. It's Porsche versus Ferrari. We haven't seen that over the course of history in sports car racing. Do battle here as they make the run up the Rahal Straight, heading down into the corkscrew. Christopher Pies has been working slowly but surely to catch up to the back bumper of that number 3 Porsche of Kurt Poulter as they work their way through the rainy curve and then approaching turn 10 and 11. Rachel, a great battle, but also we still have the great battle happening in the GT3 class in the open category.
Yeah, we really do, and the open category is definitely still making contact at the start finish line. Car goes round, or nearly goes round. That was going to be the 13 machine there that had an issue. It's going to be Philip Cartier, who was running pretty high up in the beneficiary category there. Contact with the 57 machine belonging to, I think that was one of our cars coming past.
That was Dave Hines, our second place overall leader.
Yeah. Ooh, that was one of the Pro Class cars contacted. So I think he just got loose there, not really a fault issue.
Yeah, it certainly is not. There you see Dave Hines. Maybe a little crink in there on the nose of that car, but overall still out there running very consistent lap times. He is chasing down none other than race leader Chris Walsh. There's Dustin Burkholter. You're on board with him, who's been battling with Martin Wallace. But I want to touch on Chris Walsh right quick. He found out some very interesting information about him before today's broadcast. Not only is he an Optimo volunteer and staff member, but also he recently started his professional racing driving debut with AOA Motorsports at the SRO event at VIR, which was a great opportunity, which of course we'll be going to later on this season. But he's also an active duty of the U.S. Air Force and also an officer, as he is also the member of, get this, the U.S. Olympic bobsled team. So he'll be getting ready in 2022 for the Winter Olympics, which is going to be exciting. So keep an eye on, I would have to say this is probably the most fastest form of sports I have seen watching bobsled racing, Rachel. It's fast, and I have to say I'd rather be in a race car than in a bobsled.
The only question is, can he beat the Jamaicans? That is his benchmark he has to go for.
He does have to beat the Jamaicans. It's going to be tough, but I think he can do it.
Especially if they start singing. If they start singing, they're in trouble.
He's got to
come up with their own song.
They do need to come up with their song. Well, no. I mean, it's Jamaicans. They know how to do it.
They absolutely do, yeah. I mean, but Jamaica, they got a bobsled team. Anyway,
they do.
I'm not going to sing the song. It will go horribly, horribly wrong. But either way, on the racetrack, Chris Walsh still leads our way with Hines in second place there. Poulter behind them. Pies has suffered today. Not track he's really done too well on. But, of course, looking back towards our open class, it's Gonzalez, it's Beeman, and it is all the way down to Bray for third. Right now, it is Reeve, Winker, and... Well, actually, Reeve's just coming out of the final quarter there. Winker and May. I had them, Bray and May. I got those two. I think I got those in the right order. Very similar names. Very confusing for small brain at this time in the morning. But John May being third in the beneficiary class.
He certainly is, as he is working his way down through the corkscrew. There you'll see our driver of John May, and as they continue to press on, we have to also point out of a couple of other people who are going to be out on the track that we have to make mention of, Rachel, as we are approaching just 5 minutes left to go on the clock. That is Chris Ramirez.
Yeah, very much. It is Christopher Ramirez being our beneficiary in today's race, or our beneficiary spotlight, I should say. And Chris joined the USMC Reserve in 2008 as an infantryman while he was finishing his bachelor's degree. Chris's original intent was to get some experience as an enlisted man before becoming an officer, which is actually a really good idea to see both sides of that fence. One that I think most officers should have to, speaking as one. But also to pay for the rest of his college time, actually. He was deployed with his unit, the 1st Battalion of the 23rd Marines, in 2011 to Helmand Province, Afghanistan, and he sustained some non-combat related injuries that would eventually force him out of the Marines in 2013. Chris has always loved cars and had a fascination with motorsports, and after spending some time sim racing doing IRL track events, he started to think there's some real benefit to this for his mental state. I was wondering if there are any non-profits out there that would link veterans to motorsports, and that's how we came across Operation Motorsport. Chris says, I didn't really join him to be a beneficiary, he just wanted to do more to help other veterans engage in something that helped him out quite a bit with his experience from PTSD and the lack of something he had since he was discharged, that brotherhood, that coming together. And by engaging with Opmo, of course, he says he's gotten back to being able to banter and to race with other veterans with similar experiences. Now he has a much stronger sense of what he can do to help others that have been impacted in the same way. So hats off to you, Chris.
Indeed, hats off to Chris Ramirez, and thank you for all of his hard work serving the services of the United States. As we watch on the battle for the lead, Dave Hines trying to close in to the back bumper of our bobsledding Christopher Walsh as he works his way through turn 10, trying to hold on here in the closing minutes. 3 minutes left to go, or 3 laps to go. Once they cross the start-finish line here, as they come out of turn number 11, it is down to half a second between your top two as they come across the start-finish line. They're actually coming up to the back bumper of your open class leaders of Tyler Beamone and Mario Gonzalez. So this will be an interesting inter-class battles of 2 different classes and 2 different races. In fact, Beamone's going to go try to take the long way around Gonzalez.
Yeah, that could make things a little tricky here because they're in different races, one being close to a back marker in the pro class and one being, actually, wait, no, I'm confused. Beamon and Gonzalez being both open class, I do apologize. Wait, no. There's 2 of them. Which one do we mean?
We need the open class, Rachel.
Okay, sorry. My brain got confused because you've got back of the pro class, Bradley Beamon, Mario Gonzalez, Tyler Beamon, second in open class, and again, small brain late at night. Sorry. But yes, he, of course, not the same context I was going for a second ago there in terms of being in different classes, but very much the same class, and trying to, of course, move for position there. He's going to have to try and find it because this is where the race comes down to, these final moments.
It certainly is, and in fact, we should be getting the popsicle sticks this time around. It should be 2 laps to go for your race leader, Christopher Walsh. Here comes Dave Hines. He's trying to close the gap. No major issues going on in the beneficiary class of Hunter Reeve. He holds a 31-second advantage over none other than John Winker, who sits in the second in the beneficiary class. As we watch on, these are your 2 best battles, the open class and the pro class. Dave Hines trying to hunt down Chris Walsh, while you have Tyler Beamone hunting down Mario Gonzalez.
Yeah, definitely do, and looking to see if you can do anything with this, as it's going to be a good knot of cars there around him, which could definitely slow things up, maybe, oh god, not quite contact, but close to, as we have a battle for 5th place as well.
Yes, this is the battle between Dustin Burkholter and Martin Wallace as they work their way over to turn number 3. As they hold on, you see Burkholter pulling away from Wallace in the Corvette as we still go back up to the race lead between Hines and Walsh as they make the run up the Rahal Straight, heading down into the braking zone of the corkscrew. They have one of the lap cars of Tim Bernard right in front of him. They're going to try to quickly and carefully negotiate through him as they come out of the rainy curve over to turn number 10, as they will get the white flag this time around as they approach turn 11. Great opportunity to get around lap traffic. He thinks better of it. Both of them go wide. Dave Hines will now go side by side for the race lead in the pro class. Door banging as they come to the white flag one more time around.
Oh, this is getting close here, but the inside of the corner could be Hines's as we come into this second corner here. The double apex left-hander, and you'll get the inside line and come through. Hines makes the move.
Hines will make the move as he tries to pull away once again here in the closing laps through turn 3, but here comes Christopher Walsh. One car right in front of a close call for them.
That was, I think, both drivers now need new race suits there for Walsh and Hines. But Hines secured that one pretty succinctly, and he's out front now in a comfortable way. So this is going to have to really come to Walsh to try and take it back.
He certainly has. He only got a couple of more corners to go, and lap traffic is still trying to get involved in this incident through turn number 6. Up the Rahal Straight they go. He has to utilize the slipstream this time and maybe try to outbrake his competition through the corkscrew. For the final time, they'll work through both of them. Great opportunity as we see Walsh. He will hold on. He'll go to the inside through rainy curve, but can't quite make it stick through turn 10 here. Could we see a plate pass for the lead in turn 11? I don't think it's possible. Walsh goes off, unfortunately, for Dave Hines. He will feel the rhythm and feel the rhyme. He will get the checkered flag here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca in pro class as he comes across the line as we go to our open class field for the final time.
Beeman was ahead, but Gonzalez got back past him, but he's gone wide. Will Beeman take it back again? It's going to be neck to neck in the open class towards the line. Will he hold him off? It might be Gonzalez, I think it is. Gonzalez takes it, and behind them, Hunter Reeve will come across to win the beneficiary category.
Mario Gonzalez beat Tyler Beamon by 8 1,000ths of a second. That is incredible.
Tight. Can we get a run back and look at that as they cross the line from maybe above or something? Because I love those finishes. They're insane, but that one was super close.
Let's take a look at this, and of course, we'll touch also Hunter Reeve is your beneficiary class leader, but how about this late race pass for the lead? Here you see Gonzalez trying to get the run going as he works his way up through turn 10. And as they come out of there, you'll see them go side by side. Then Mario Gonzalez overshoots it, goes a little bit wide off corner exit. Beamon able to make it stick side by side. And as they drag race to the line, there you see right there, it was that close and just shows the BMW overtook the Mercedes of Mario Gonzalez. A great fight to the finish.
Oh, absolutely. That was crazy. Oh, wow. What a race finish we had there from all 3 classes.
A very tight finish there. And as we let the drivers take a cool down lap to get things calmed down after that exciting race finish, we'll give you the full field rundown of tonight's race. Dave Hines, your pro class winner and overall race winner, will take home the checkered flag. He'll beat Chris Walsh in 2nd place, followed by Kurt Poulter in the number 3 and 3rd. 4th position goes to Christopher Pies, followed by Dustin Burkholter in 5th position. Martin Wallace will come home 6th in the 666, followed by Bradley Beamon in the 7th position. Tyler Gilmetti will be the last car on the lead lap in 8th position. Moving on to 9th position, you have your overall open class winner. He will be Mario Gonzalez in the 777, followed by the 7 of Tyler Beamon coming home in 10th overall, 2nd in class.
Eleventh place will be Hunter Reeve from our beneficiary category, with 12th place Mark Bray. 13th is Rick Haslett from the open class as well. 14th John May from the beneficiaries, with John Winkler in 15th. 16th Theo Brilsema. 17th is going to be the open classes Rodney Campbell, with 18th place beneficiary class Tim Bernard, along with Joshua O'Connor in 19th and Philip Cartier in 20th. Behind them in 21st, again, beneficiary Chris Ramirez there, with 22nd open class Tyler Reed. And behind them, 3 beneficiaries, Brooke Hogan, Dylan Redrick, and Adam Poppenhaus.
And with that, we will go ahead and bring our beneficiary class winner up to the booth, Hunter Reeve. Hunter, you go back to back with this, and pretty much a quiet night for you compared to the last round at Mid-Ohio, as you just cruised to victory here tonight.
Yeah, it was. I think I got pretty lucky on that one, to be honest.
What was it like trying to go out and battle with some of the open class drivers in the early going stages of that race, and then realizing that you had a decent gap over the rest of your beneficiary class class members?
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to stay out of the open class battle. I mean, Mario 1 is a good buddy of mine for a long time, so I didn't want to mess him up in any way. So after a while, I was just like, I'm just gonna back out. So yeah.
It certainly is. One thing right quick, and before I turn it over to Rachel, anyone you would like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, Operation Motorsports, Tiffany and Diesel Lauder, Jason Leach and Chris Ramirez. They run this whole league and they do an awesome job. And Tooth Autosport.
Of course. And Hunter, right quick, what is the military branch again that you serve for?
I was U.S. Army.
U.S. Army. So, Rachel, we got another U.S. Army tally for the group as we now turn it over to our second place driver in the beneficiary class. That is John May. He is with Rachel Whiteford.
So here's John May, bringing home another 2 points in our unofficial championship for the USMC, of course, and second place in the race tonight. A tricky run here, of course, and it was more about trying to fight the track, I think, tonight than the cars. Do we have John May with us? John May is not with us, so we're going to go to third place in the beneficiary category, John Winker. John, do we have you?
Yep, I am here.
Hey, John. So a tricky run tonight, of course. More, again, fighting. I was going to say this to May, but the track seemed to be the biggest opponent for everybody tonight.
Yeah. Leading up to this race, and finally just picked one in qualifying and ran it, and definitely a tricky course for some reason in the Ferrari.
Yeah, certainly seemed to be that way. And, of course, lots of the guys around you, both classes, the open and beneficiary classes there. You had a lot of the guys as well coming through from the pro class. And on a track this tight and twisty, does that really pose a problem?
Especially going into the kink. I know I had a slight incident with a GTE car coming up on me right there, and you got to kind of figure out who's going to go forward without being able to directly talk with the other driver. It definitely makes for a challenge in that area, especially going up into the corkscrew as well.
Yeah, it certainly does, of course. Anybody you'd like to give a shout out to or thank for this?
I would just like to thank Opmoto and our race team, Resilience Racing, sponsored by Skip Barber.
Well, there you go, sponsored by Skip Barber, and fantastic job for you tonight, of course. And along with the race winner today, Mr. Reeve, you helped bring the Army's total to 11 now, dominating this championship by round number 3, 11 over 5. Okay, well, thank you very much for joining us. We've got John May next, who came second, and he's with Taylor Burris.
Here with John May, who comes home in second place in the beneficiary class. John, a great performance for you. How did you feel out there on the circuit as battling it out, trying to see if you can catch up to Hunter Reeve?
I tell you, Hunter had me covered from the beginning. I am glad that I programmed my own dashboards, because the second I finished the second lap, my dashboard was yelling at me, telling me I wasn't going to have enough fuel. So it was a fuel management from the very start.
Oh my goodness. So talk a little bit about how that fuel saving helped you come home with this second place finish, because it seemed very interesting that a fuel strategy might have come into play here tonight.
Yeah, I knew I had to run to a number, so I set my lap time at 28 minute 28 seconds was what I knew I had to run. If I knew I could run it consistently and got some help with others' misfortune, then I knew I was going to have a good race. So I set my number and I let the cards fall where they may.
It certainly, and it fell pretty decently for you. Of course, this is a good opportunity for you as well when it comes to the point standings, with you coming home with this podium finish, to continue to build your point standings in this playoff or this class point system for you in the beneficiary class after that great run. Before we let you go, though, John, anyone you'd like to give a thank you or shout out to?
You know what? I just want to thank Opmo and Ricaro and y'all at Podium for helping put this together. This is something that really does help us veterans to get out there and have a little bit of sunshine and some rough days when we have.
Oh, we certainly do. Thank you for your services as well, John, and look forward to seeing you at the next round as we head to the tight streets of Long Beach.
All right. Thank y'all very much, and y'all enjoy.
Of course, that is John May coming home in second in your beneficiary class. And Rachel, we now continue our California cruise here as we leave WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, and we head to probably one of the most exciting street courses in all of motorsports, Long Beach. And it's going to be exciting, it's going to be intense, and I have to probably even say a little chaotic.
I think we can guarantee chaos. That will definitely be happening. Long Beach is tricky, it is tight, it's confined, there's no room for error. It will provide a phenomenal race, so make sure you tune in at the same time next week for that. And to give you the full tally, of course, on our Inter-Service Championship, Army leading the way on 11, Marines in second on 5, Air Force on 1, which I think came with the Netflix subscription, Navy, 1 life ring, 0, the Space Force are blasting off again with a 0, and the Coast Guard are guarding the coast. We think.
We hope.
We hope,
anyway,
so at least.
Well, we all still have to say thanks to all of them for their service and commitment. And of course, we have to say thank you to Kevin Boehm with all of this great opportunity. Kevin Boehm, of course, you can visit his website at www.kevinboehm.com. But Rachel, we also have to thank a couple of other people as well, starting off with Ricaro. Whether it's on the track or iRacing, Ricaro Automotive is all about making the driving safer, more comfortable, and more controlled. A driving experience that you can really feel. Ricaro Automotive puts people first. Every time, an erect sitting position means a comfortable position with perfect seats, contours, and innovative features that support your body. Ricaro Automotive makes driving fun, be it on the road or on the racetrack. Ricaro Automotive performance seats are more than just a set of components. They exude innovation, quality, premium materials, craftsmanship, and a genuine passion for cars. For more information, visit their website at www.ricaro-automotive.com. Ricaro Automotive is proud to support Operation eMotorsport iRacing.
And of course, don't forget, we want to make sure we thank Operation Motorsport. They are a veteran-led and operated organization, not-for-profit organization, I'd say, based in Brighton, Ontario, and Raleigh, North Carolina. They serve Canadian and American service members and veterans, and were founded on the basis of 3 simple words: excite, engage, and empower. The premise is to engage ill and injured service members and veterans affected by their military service through motorsport activities to aid in their recovery and rehabilitation. To find out more information, please visit operationmotorsport.org. That is operationmotorsport.org.
And of course, we have to say thank you to the series partners of Operation eMotorsport iRacing Summer League, powered by Ricaro, along with Ricaro Automotive, the USO, Mobile One, CrowdStrike Racing, Boehm Racing, and DXDT Racing. Well, with that, it is time that we come to a close. So, for Jason Leach, Diesel Lauder, and the entire Operation Motorsports team, for James Pike, Cisco Scarmuza, Gary Sexton, and John Theodore at Podium Esports, for our producer Ryan Bauer, and for my colleague Rachel Whiteford, I am Taylor Burris. Thank you so much for watching tonight's broadcast of the Operation eMotorsport iRacing Summer League, powered by Ricaro. From WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, we hope to see you next week at Long Beach.